the Sports Renegades podcast on SportstownChicago.com.
Welcome back to the Sports Renegades here on SportstownChicago.com. I am Ryan Risky.
I am Ryan Stuprich. So let's get into this Jackie Robinson West discussion as the Little League was stripped them of their U.S. championship title.
Isn't this unbelievable? Like, it's coming, like, several months after they won it. Like, it didn't come out, like, shortly after. This came out several months after, like, I mean, the new Little League World Series is going to be starting up in a couple months. And, I mean, the thing that hurts is that there's a bunch of little kids that got stripped of a trophy and a big accomplishment because those decisions made by adults, they had no control over that.
Right. And although, I mean, they probably thought something was fishy when you have all these kids from, like, Lombard playing on their team. It's like, hello.
Yeah, I mean, then Jackie Robinson West goes and fires a bunch of people. They go and suspend people. Well, that doesn't really do anything. I mean, that really just tells me by doing that, like, right after they were stripped of that trophy when they were firing and suspending people, that tells me that they knew about everything going on.
I'm sure they did. And, you know, it just, I understand, you know, why everyone feels bad for the kids, which I do too, because
I mean, they're 12 and 13-year-old kids, other than that guy who was like 16.
And, I mean, they did play really well. Them together beat out, you know, all the other teams in the U.S.
And almost beat out South Korea, was it, in the final game?
It was either South Korea or Japan. I don't remember what team it was.
It was one of those. And, I mean, they made a comeback in the ninth inning. They scored like 4 runs in the ninth inning to make it, like, really close.
Yeah, it was a maybe 3 or 2 run game at that point. And, you know, I feel bad for them, but, I mean, they did break the rules. Not the kids, but, you know, the coaches and parents stretched the rules, and they went outside of the league boundaries that the kids lived in for Jackie Robinson West, and they picked up the best kids available from other parts of the, you know, south suburbs or other parts of the city of Chicago. And, you know, it really wasn't brought to attention until later on because they had done previous investigations, but they didn't find anything wrong. But as they started to dig, you know, a little further, they found out that, yeah, they did some bad things wrong.
Yeah, I mean, and the thing that really makes us hurt more is that they were the only exciting baseball being played last summer, and now we learned it was all a lie.
Right, it was all a lie. They had that big rally where Hawk was going crazy. These are the kids of the future, blah, 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 whatever he said. I think Theo Epstein was there, too, and he made a comment or two about it.
Yeah, the funny thing is, I was actually at the Cubs game. This is a Saturday against the Orioles in August. And it was the Saturday game, and there was like a 3-hour rain delay. We were in my dad's company suite. And the funny thing is, right when the rain delay started was the start of the game for the U.S. championship trophy to play against the World's team.
That was good timing, yeah.
Yeah, it was, and the game ended right when the rain stopped.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, it was pretty ironic. The place was going crazy watching Jackie Robinson West win.
Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of sad to think that, like, that whole late summer thing that they were doing, it was all sort of a lie because of the coaches and the parents were cheating, and they knew.
Yeah, they definitely.
Obviously, they knew that they don't live in the Jackie Robinson West boundaries. So
right, they absolutely knew that. I mean, it pains me to say that I agree with the decision to strip the trophy because, I mean, they broke the rules. I mean,
I do
they
agree
won
with
by
it.
they won by
just like, it's sort of like the Joe Paterno Penn State thing. Like, you may not. You know, you may love Joe Paterno and all he did, but those wins should have been vacated. And
well, he got the wins back. They gave him the wins back.
Yeah, I know, which I think is ridiculous. But I mean, at the time when they vacated the wins, that was the right decision. There was a big uproar about that, not locally. But.
The thing with the Joe Paterno thing was that his wins were taken away because of like was it Jerry Sandusky stuff and all of that. Taking away what was going on behind the scenes had nothing to do with the football team.
True.
I mean, that had absolutely nothing to do with Joe Paterno winning games. That's why I'm happy that they gave him his wins
Although Joe
back.
Paterno knew what was going on.
Yes, he absolutely knew what was going on, except had he been cheating on the field, then I would agree with taking away the wins, except that what was going on off the field and on the field were completely different things.
Right. Whereas, as this Jackie Robinson case, I mean, these parents and coaches, I don't understand. Did they not think that they would get caught by doing something like this?
I mean, I'm actually shocked that something like this actually turned up. Like, I wonder how it came to the fruition of the league officials' eyes that maybe something was happening. Because I remember just reading one day.
I think it was a team. It was either a team in the Little League World Series that had lost to Jackie Robinson West, or it was a team in Chicago, like on the north side of Chicago, who brought it to like Little League officials' attentions of like, some of these kids aren't playing, and
I can't see a Chicago. I can't see another team from Chicago doing that. It was probably another team. Because I remember I was watching one of the games, and my mom said some of those kids do not look like they're 12 or 13. They look like they're teenagers.
Well, that's another thing. But no, I think they were all around the same age.
No, one of them was like 15 or 16.
Really?
Yeah. One of the they had like. One of them had like.
But of course, according to Jesse Jackson and all the parents that spoke out yesterday, it's all okay because they brought the city together within all the violence that Chicago has and blah blah blah. People could forget about things for a while and watch Jackie Robinson West. Now, while that may be true, I mean, you did it cheatingly. It's better.
Absolutely.
It's better to not cheat and have a bad team than especially in Little League, where it's not all that important.
Right, and except the thing is, I like how like a bunch of like Chicago star athletes like Joakim Noah are going and saying they're still winners in our eyes. They still brought.
It's like, okay, they can still be winners in your eyes, but they're not. They're not the U.S. champions.
I mean, no one's going to forget the run they had during that summer. And the interesting thing, former Major League pitcher Mark Mulder made a tweet that said Jackie Robinson West has been cheating with the boundaries and age, lying about kids' ages. Back when he was playing in the Little League World Series.
I'm sure they did, and I'm sure they're not the first or last school to do so.
Oh, I mean, I'm very sure that there's other schools that are doing that.
Right. It's just, I mean, everyone is, all the people like on the south side of Chicago and everything, they're all so upset about this, but it's like, you guys cheated. Not the kids. I mean, the kids were playing, but they didn't necessarily know what they were doing would strip them of their U.S. Little League title, but I mean, it's just
right, which is
crazy.
why I'm glad that people are still saying they're still proud of the kids for all the effort they put in last year. I mean, Joakim Noah, they're all going and saying, they're proud of the kids and that they're happy for them that they still like had such a run.
Sure.
I mean, I just remember waking up one day saying Jackie Robinson West being investigated, and then it just kind of went like
spiral out of control from there. But it had to be done.
I didn't hear anything more about it. I was just like, oh, they probably won't find anything. And then I wake up one day and my mom's like, they just took away the trophy from Jackie Robinson West. I was just like, what?
Yeah, and now I'm not sure if the kids, because I'm sure the kids got like individual things. I'm sure they were able to keep those things possibly, right?
I would assume so. They did. I didn't.
I'm sure they got I'm sure each of them either got a trophy or a medal or both.
Yeah, some
so
sort
I'm
of
assuming they probably got to keep
thing,
that.
or maybe some sort of award for being the MVP of the tournament. Actually, I don't know if they did that. I don't think you can go and take away a trophy from every single kid.
No, I don't think they did that. Which means you still have something, and you can still remember the great summer you had with all. Your friends on the team, but it's just half of your friends weren't from Jackie Robinson West boundaries. They were from the south suburbs.
Right. I mean, that's the one thing, though. At least they all had like a great experience, and I mean, they all played really well.
They did.
Cause I remember some of those hits though were just like unreal hits. 'Cause I remember in the game
they had like these line drive power home runs. Just
I remember one
stuff that's like crazy for like a 12-year-old to do.
Yeah. I mean, thinking about it now, I know why some of these things were happening. Because when I was watching the final game against Nevada at the Cubs game, when it was literally like just storming out, and in the first inning, someone got like a fastball on the inside part of the plate, and he hit it off the handle of the bat and hit a long opposite field 2-run homer. I was like, oh my God, that guy is strong.
That guy's going to be in the MLB someday, which he still could be. But
I was now thinking about there's no way a 12 or a 13-year-old kid could do that. I mean, like, it didn't even look like a home run coming off of the bat.
Maybe
except
the parents and coaches are offering them PEDs and steroids too.
Yeah, you never. No, I mean that is just crazy thinking about. I mean,
yeah,
it's very disappointing to hear that because, I mean, they really were doing a good job of of bringing the city together because the Major League Baseball teams sure as hell weren't doing that.
No,
I mean, if anything,
there is no college baseball in Chicago really, except I think. UIC has a pretty good team, but I mean, other than that, there was nothing going on in the summer, and Jackie Robinson-West sort of changed all that, although we find out it was more of a fallacy than reality.
Right. I mean, I'd rather the Cubs not win the World Series than they win the World Series and then something happens and it gets taken away.
That would be awful.
Oh my God.
That would have happened like under Jim Hendry or something. Like something like that would have happened. Like the Cubs win the World Series, but here's all this controversy that comes with it.
Yeah, a couple months later the trophy gets taken away.
Especially if you would have won in 2003 when Sosa was on PEDs, and who knows how many other players at that time were on PEDs as well. That would not be good.
I mean, the baseball teams were doing a horrible job during the regular season because people paid more attention to Jackie Robinson-West. I remember Twitter was blowing up with how good they were doing, and I mean, it's just really disappointing that had to happen. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, I heard that Rahm Emanuel even called the league office trying to get the trophy back.
Yeah, it's not going to be reversed.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to be getting that trophy.
Nor should it be reversed, although I guess it could be reversed, like the Joe Paterno thing. I guess.
Well, because that had nothing.
The wins could be reinstated.
Because that had nothing to do with
what
happened on
animal.
the field. Exactly.
Yeah, no, I understand that.
I mean, that had nothing to do with what was going on the field, where this absolutely was revolved around what was going on the field.
Yeah, I mean, Jackie Robinson-West still well with the team they had. I know in years past they've gone pretty far. They didn't make it as far as it did, and they certainly never won a U.S. title. But they, with the team that they had, without these kids being in the boundaries, although I don't know how long this has been going on, as we know this isn't the first time that they've been caught doing this.
Right,
so,
and also Mark Mulder's been saying it's been going on for a while. I mean, he's like 38 or 39 or 40, so I mean that was a long time ago. So who knows how long they've potentially been cheating like that? And it'll be interesting to see if the repercussions of these actions are going to cost them the chance to possibly play in these tournaments again, or maybe qualify.
I don't know.
Because remember with Penn State, even though that was off the field stuff that had no effect on what happened on the field.
It took them a couple years to be bowl eligible again.
Yeah, it took them like 2 or 3 years to be bowl eligible, which really hurts the players that were committed there before all of this happened. Which was good that they were allowing them to transfer to other schools to play football.
Yeah.
I mean, you wonder if it'll take them 2 or 3 years before they'll be allowed to be eligible again for the Little League World Series.
Right. It's just, the Jackie Robinson thing is just wasted. But and then of course, everyone on the sports radio stations, the last few days have been really stupid about the situation too. Everyone's trying to make it a race issue, and everyone's trying to make it, a different issue, or it's okay that they cheated, or it's not okay that they cheated. Everyone's always on one extreme or the other for things like this, and it's always kind of hard to listen to.
Right, and being like, let's say Nevada had beaten Jackie Robinson-West in that title game for the U.S., and then Nevada was caught cheating. All of us in Chicago would be like, strip that trophy away from them. Which
is what they were probably doing in Nevada, and what they were probably doing in. I think that there was a team in Massachusetts that also lost to Jackie Robinson-West. So yeah, I mean I think it sort of does. It's a good thing because it also sets an example that
just because it's a bunch of...
We're not going to tolerate this.
Yeah, even though it's a bunch of 11, 12, and 13-year-olds, the actions of adults will cost them memories or championships. I mean, obviously being in Chicago, it's difficult to admit that they deserve to have that trophy taken away, which they do. I mean, it's difficult punishing the kids, and that's the thing. That's I don't know what the bigger punishment is for the higher up, for the adults that help cheat, where... obviously getting that. What's worse between getting that trophy taken away and explaining to your kids why it was taken away? Like, how do you?
That might be a little hard for them to understand, especially when.
I mean, hard for the adults to say. Like, how do you tell? Yeah. How do you? If your son was on that team, how do you go and tell them that you were one of the people that caused them to get that trophy taken away by cheating?
Yeah, that's obviously a hard issue, but they brought it upon themselves.
Yeah, they absolutely did. I mean, these parents will probably want people to feel bad for them, that they got to tell their kids that part of it is their fault for cheating. Except no one should feel bad for you. You were the one that cheated in the first place.
Yeah.
So you got to tell your kid that your actions cost them a trophy.
And I'm surprised, it's not getting, well, I mean, it's getting national exposure, but it's getting a lot of national exposure, like on Sports Center and other sports shows like Fox Sports Live and stuff. I mean,